It was a Tuesday when the text arrived. It said only 3 words. We all agreed. At first, I didn't know what it meant, but my stomach sank. A minute later, I got another message from my mom. It was still those same 3 words. We all agreed. You're not welcome at the wedding. No punctuation, just that little dash she uses when she wants to sound important. A smirk in text form. I stared at it, rereading it, hoping it would change, but it didn't. My sister's wedding, the one I helped pay for, the one I helped plan, the one where I spent months fixing emotional problems and booking every vendor because Sarah was too stressed. I wasn't invited. I'm Kyle. I'm 31. And I've always been the responsible one. I work in IT, I live simply, I've stayed single, and I've saved money while everyone else borrowed and spent. I thought being responsible was a blessing. It turned out to just make me the family, ATM. The wedding was next Saturday at a beach venue with a white and gold theme that looked more like a baby shower. I paid half the venue deposit, booked everyone's flights, and even reserved the honeymoon suite in Cabo under my name, because Mom's credit wasn't good enough. And now, I wasn't welcome. I didn't reply. Instead, I quietly logged into the travel site I'd used and canceled the 2 business class tickets. A $3,800 refund popped up. Then I logged into my bank and transferred $6,500, the exact amount I'd wired last month for overflow wedding costs, back to my savings. I didn't say a word. I just watched the numbers move. I felt nothing. Not anger, not sadness. Just a calm relief, like I'd finally exhaled. At 8:17 p.m., my phone rang, my sister first. I let it ring, then my cousin, then my uncle, then Mom. I turned off notifications and reheated leftovers for dinner while ignoring them. By morning, I had 23 missed calls, 4 voicemails, and 1 text. That froze my hand. Please call me. It was Dad. Dad never gets involved in drama. He'd rather fix a broken coffee maker than join fights. If he was calling, something was wrong. I pictured all the voicemails, Sarah whining, Mom crying, some aunt lecturing me. I wanted to delete them all, but Dad's message stayed with me. You need to see this now. My father picks his words carefully. He's not dramatic like Mom, or manipulative like Sarah. If he said I needed to see something, it wasn't another guilt trip. I called him. Kyle, he said softly. You got a minute? My mouth went dry. I do. What's up? There was a pause. I heard a TV in the background, and then it turned off. Dad said, I didn't know they were going to do this. Your mom and sister, they locked down the seating chart and announced in the family chat that you chose not to come. I'm not even in the chat, I said. I know, he replied. That's part of it. Another pause, then. They told everyone you pulled a loner stunt, that you got upset over something minor and backed out. Sarah told them you're dramatic and did this on purpose. So they kicked me out and made it look like my choice? Worse, Dad said quietly. Your mom said you threatened to ruin the wedding if you came. My breath caught. She what? He sighed. She told Sarah's in-laws you're emotionally unstable, jealous of her happy ending, and that you always make things about yourself. Like usual? I snapped. Dad's voice shook a little. I know that's not who you are. I've watched you pick up every mess they dropped. You handled that engagement party alone and no one thanked you. You paid off Mom's credit card last summer without saying a word. You showed up every time they didn't. I leaned against the kitchen counter, hands trembling. So this exile was a setup to make me the villain? Dad exhaled. It's worse. They're telling people you refused to fund the honeymoon out of spite. That hit me hardest. Something in me broke, but not in the way I expected. I wasn't hurt. I wasn't angry. I felt cold and distant, like watching a show I once loved but now knew every twist. Dad, I said flatly, I canceled the flights last night. The $2,600 and $500 I wired, The refund's already back." He was silent, then said softly, "Good." That single word, "good," was the first time in years Dad supported one of my choices out loud. Then he added, "There's something else. I wasn't going to tell you, but I think you need to see it." I heard rustling, and then a ping. Dad had sent me something, and that's where the story leaves off. Here's that final part in very simple English with nothing skipped or added. I opened my phone. It was a screenshot of a group chat with Mom, Sarah, and some aunts. My name was in the messages. Mom wrote, "Don't worry about Kyle. He's just sensitive because no one has ever loved him enough to marry him. I'll talk to him after the wedding once he sees how childish he's being." Sarah wrote, "He's a ghost. Let him fade. We just need to make sure he doesn't embarrass us." Then Aunt Cheryl asked, "So we all agree, no +1 for him even if he begs?" Mom replied, "Exactly. No seat, no speech, no drama. He'll get over it. He always does." I read those lines twice, then a third time. Then I deleted the screenshot, not to deny it, but because I didn't need to see it again to know the truth. I'd always been an outsider in my own family, the helper, the fixer, the invisible glue. Glue doesn't get a seat at the table. It just holds everything together until it cracks. And they were right about one thing. I wasn't going to beg. That evening, I made a different list, not of people to confront, but of systems to dismantle. They wanted me to disappear quietly. They'd forgotten I was the one holding the strings. The joint Costco membership with Mom? Canceled. The family Hulu, Netflix, and Disney Plus plans? I removed their profiles. The automatic payments I was making on Sarah's student loan? Disabled. And the wedding venue deposit? That was still in my name. I was the contract holder. They'd never repaid me for that check I wrote. It went to the top of my list. I opened the contract and hovered over cancel reservation. For the first time that day, I smiled. If they thought I was dramatic before, they hadn't seen anything yet. By Wednesday morning, my silence had them panicking. Their voicemails went from polite to desperate. Sarah's tone shifted from annoyed to pleading, "Kyle, can we talk? There's been a huge misunderstanding. Mom didn't mean it that way." I didn't answer. I listened with my arms crossed. Each message only confirmed what I already knew. They were trying to put toothpaste back in the tube, but it was too late. I wasn't seeking revenge for ego. I wanted them to feel it. That afternoon, I grabbed a black notebook and wrote down every account, every auto payment, every bill in my name. I wasn't dramatic. I was thorough. They used to call me the cold one, the robot who didn't feel like they did. They were right in a way. I didn't explode. I calculated. I logged in and suspended Mom's phone plan, one I'd paid for since 2019. She wouldn't notice until hair trial day. I unlinked my bank from Sarah's Venmo, the backup card she'd used when she overdrafted 3 times in college. Then I reported the strange charges for fraud. By Thursday morning, I had an email from the wedding venue. "Your cancellation request is received. Your deposit will be forfeited unless you rebook." I smiled. Let them explain that. To 118 guests coming for a wedding that no longer had a reservation. That noon, my cousin Mark called. He's the only one who ever treated me like a person. His voice was tired. "Kyle, what's happening?" I told him. "I'm done funding a family that sees me as a wallet with legs." He sighed. "They're freaking out." "Good," I said. "Sarah says you're ruining her marriage." I laughed dryly. If a canceled flight and a frozen honeymoon fund ruin a marriage, maybe it wasn't built to last. He didn't argue. He only said, "I wish you'd told me sooner. I knew they leaned on you too much." That night, I logged into Dad's old Dropbox. We'd digitized family records there. I found receipts, emails, even the original invoice for Sarah's engagement party that Mom forgot I paid for. I made a new Google Drive folder, uploaded everything, and named it Contributions from Kyle Nobody Wanted. I copied the link and sent it to every family member in the chat. No caption needed. 5 minutes later, I was kicked out of the group. Perfect. Friday morning, one day before the wedding, I was sipping coffee when I got an email from Linda, the groom's mother. We'd met once. She's proper and polite. Her subject line, concern about the wedding. Her message, "Hi, Kyle. I've heard bits of what's happening and I'm alarmed. Could we talk? I feel I'm missing important information." Best, Linda. That made me realize this wasn't just family gossip. This was unraveling from both ends. I called her. "Thank you for calling," she said. "I'm told you declined to come because you were bitter." I waited, then asked, "Do bitter people pay for half the venue, the cake, the DJ, and the flowers?" She gasped. "I was unaware of that," she said. "They needed a scapegoat when you pulled out and stopped funding it, so they blamed you." Her voice softened. "I understand why you distanced yourself, but there's something you should know. Sarah opened a joint credit card with your mom last week using your name as co-signer." I froze. "What?" she continued. "My husband found your name on the application." That was the last straw. I wasn't just their ATM, I was now their fraud target. I filed a fraud report with the credit card company, screenshot every detail, then filed a police report with the forged application and a notarized statement saying I never consented. Then I called Mom. She answered, "Kyle, I was about to call you." I cut in. "Did you sign my name on a credit card application?" Silence. "You're being ridiculous," she finally said. "It was just a backup if the honeymoon ran over." "Did you sign my name?" I asked again. After a long pause, Sarah piped in, "You would have done it if you knew it was important." I let that hang. "That's not an answer," I said. "Explain it to the investigator." Her only reply was, "We're family." That word no longer meant anything. Here's that final part in very simple English, with nothing skipped or added. "You're really going to make this ugly over a little misunderstanding?" I said, cutting her off. "You kicked me out of a wedding I paid for, lied about it, and even committed fraud in my name. I didn't make this ugly. You did. I'm just shining a light on it." "Kyle, honey, please, we can fix this," Mom begged. I hung up. That evening, I drove to Dad's house. He was on the porch with 2 beers and that quiet, serious look he gets when things are bad. "You okay?" he asked as I sat next to him. I nodded. "Getting there," I said. We didn't talk much. We didn't need to. Dad handed me a beer, and we watched the sun set. After a while, he said, "You did the right thing." That meant more than anything. The fallout was fast. First, calls from aunts, cousins, even Uncle Greg, who hadn't spoken to me since 2016. They all wanted to know why the wedding was off and why Sarah posted about being betrayed by blood. I didn't answer. Then came texts, apologies, guilt trips. "Kyle, I didn't know. We should have protected you. Can we please talk?" But I was done being their emotional janitor. I let calls go to voicemail and texts stay unread. The wedding never happened. With the venue gone and no backup, they tried a backyard ceremony. Guests were confused. Some turned back mid-flight. The groom's family, hearing about the forged credit card, called it off. Financial fraud before vows isn't a good look. Sarah posted cryptic stories and Bible verses about snakes in the grass and family who turns their back on you. I didn't flinch, because sometimes the best revenge isn't a big fight or public shaming. Sometimes it's simply clarity, quietly dismantling the system that took you for granted and walking away as the rotten house collapses. About a week later, Mom sent one last message. "You've made your point. We're all hurting. You didn't have to go this far." I didn't reply. Instead, I changed my number, took days off work, and booked a solo trip, just me and my laptop, at the same resort Sarah was supposed to honeymoon at. Funny thing about booking under your own name. You know the cancellation rules. I changed the dates, upgraded the suite, and kept her champagne package. There I was, on the balcony, drink in hand, waves rolling below, thinking about how long I'd waited for someone to see me. But I finally saw myself, not the fixer, not the bank account, just Kyle, 31, free, and at last done trying to earn love I never owed them. I don't know if they'll ever understand what they lost, but I do, and I'm not giving it back. Her message,